Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. You'll notice that I'm not in my little kind of book nook. I'm actually traveling for work, but I thought I'd give a short introduction to a very long video. And the long video is one that I actually filmed in December 2024 when I received or purchased a big box of 71 books. So you might notice I've got slightly different hair, and I might mention Christmas, for example. And I think I even mentioned a book I'm reading, which was last year. But anyway, I did that as the first ever video before I did the Booktube newbie. And I just wanted to give a bit of an intro to what's coming up. So this is actually February 2025, but the filming was last year. And yeah, 71 books. Join me on the journey of unboxing, and hope there's some books in there that interest you, some covers, and some chaotic ramblings from me about said books. Thank you for watching. Enjoy. Cheers. Welcome to the channel. My name's Simon, and I'm curating my own retirement library, which is mainly focused on, you can't really see it, I've got two blocks here, some blocks down here below. I'll just take some from here, for example, of classic science fiction, basically. Usually a format. I love the pan lozenges, made famous by Outlaw Bookseller. I love the plan, what I call sun covers, but I've also got a bit of Orbit, a bit of Sphere, a bit of Panther, Granada, etc. And I'm just trying to collect as much as I can for when I do have more space than this tiny little block. Have an amazing library that I can dive into. I call it retirement library because I want to retire tomorrow, right? I might retire in 30 years or something, but I want it to be there. It's something to curate and grow, and I just love the search as well. I was recently in the US and had an amazing time in some bookshops over there, and you can still get some great deals. Anyway, I've got this box which I showed earlier, but look at that. Now, this is 71 books. I'm going to put it on the floor to open it. And the reason I got this is, one, I thought it was a great deal. Two, I got excited towards Christmas that I should treat myself, which is ridiculous, I know. But I don't often treat myself. I do buy a lot of books, but never in a single quantity for such an amount of money. And I just wanted to kind of have a good time. Anyway, right, I'm nearly in. It's good. Oh, here we go. Oh, and here comes one of my girls, one of my cats. Who's that? Hi, Penelope. Is it Penelope? How are you doing? Oh no, and there's Peanuts here, which is not going to be good. This is a pretty random set. And there was one book that I definitely wanted, which was a relatively rare pan lozenge. And if you don't know what a pan lozenge is, I don't know if I've got one. Please get out. That will be edited. Faux show. I don't know if I've got a pan lozenge at hand, because they're kind of at the back of my storage. But let me just try and see if I can show you one. Oh, there we go. They're all at the back there. So you can see that's when I say pan sun. Those are the ones I like as well. But a pan lozenge, what have I got a good one? Well, actually, just whatever's at hand. I've got a couple here if I can get them out. So they've got kind of usually silver or gold shape around the author's name. So there was one in this haul of 71 books that I've had my eye on for a while, but it's very expensive. This one, again, Michael Coney, signed. That was a surprise when I first got it. So there's a different one. It's kind of bigger, and it also goes into the name. So there's no complete, if you're very OCD, there's no complete format. It's you know, stylistic. So very nice. Anyway, so I've opened it up. There was one I was definitely after, and then there were a few that I was intrigued by, just for my collection. I go for Harlan Ellison, Philip K. Dick, Bob Shaw, Christopher Priest. You know, all of the classics, all of the very collected Ballard, etc. Heinlein, Asimov, Clarke, the big guys. But I also do get kind of random things that sometimes have really, really bad reviews. So one that springs to mind, I got this the other day because it was cheap. The reviews of this, now I will read it, right? Timepiece by Brian Emball, The Mind-Bending Search for Time Itself. For me, lovely little book. Looks brilliant, great condition, horrific reviews. But anyway, I digress, as I do. So there are some strange things in here. I can't really even remember. I didn't even really do a full review. I kind of looked at the view on the eBay was like a table view downwards, and then it had kind of a stacked view. So it was quite, I went through and I thought, that looks good, that one looks good, whatever, but most of them not. Anyway, we'll go one by one and see what we've got. So this is an Arrow book. So I don't have a lot of Arrow. It is a faded spine. That's one thing I'm probably going to get a lot of. E.C. Tubb, The Winds of Gath. Now I don't have a lot of E.C. Tubb. It's very good condition inside, apart from that faded spine. And that's a 1967 Arrow, so yeah, for that kind of thing is good for me. So I've got my bags here. I've got two types of bags. One's kind of the cheaper one that I got a long time ago, before I really knew what I was doing, but they're kind of good enough, but they don't have the flexibility on bigger books. These are the best ones. They were pretty scarce recently, but best ones. So yeah, good. Not a lot of E.C. Tubb. I don't even know if I've got one or two maybe E.C. Tubb somewhere, but I definitely don't have this one. Relatively good condition, faded spine. I will still read it. Fantastic. Okay, now this I do have, actually. So anything I do have, so Welcome to Mars, this is slightly later, I think this is 1980, 1981. Welcome to Mars, James Blish, Sphere. I've got an almost pristine version of this. So anything that I do have, I usually give to my local Age UK, or stuff that's slightly like the pan lozenges, I will sell on eBay. And I'd love to one day be, and I would, affiliated with the channel, I'd love to be a reseller and part of the community and share my love of vintage sci-fi, etc. But this one I do have, haven't read it. I've read a huge amount of sci-fi. I read, for example, and I've got the full Sci-Fi Masterworks Black collection, and I read all of them, including the hardbacks. But in terms of some of these vintage ones, I'm building a library, and I've hardly touched anything in terms of reading. So, for example, I'm reading in Ascension at the moment. Is it Martin MacInnes? I get the name wrong. Martin MacInnes. So I'm reading more modern, as well as vintage, but all of these I probably haven't read at all. Okay, Robert Heinlein, Revolt in 2100. Now, I do have a version of this. I think I have the pan black with the blocky SF across the top. Again, not bad condition, but not great. I have to say I did think they were slightly better condition, but, you know, as part of the game. It says 45p internally, 60p, the Newtown paperback, there's a stamp. So this is NEL, New English Library. And, okay, so 1974, 1972, this edition 1977. So that's within my wheelhouse. Now, obviously, I don't have as many NEL as I have kind of more popular or more easily accessible British publishers, but fine. I haven't read that, and I haven't got that version. Gordon R. Dixon, The Dragon and the George. So, again, I'm not a big fantasy reader, and I really did not know that a Ballantine fantasy would be in here. But Gordon R. Dixon is also a sci-fi writer, and it does say a science fiction book club selection, so maybe. Jim Eckhart was a dragon. Well, it starts pretty well. He hadn't planned it that way, but that's what happened when he set out to rescue his betrothed. Pretty good condition. You know, stranger things have happened. Night of the Dark Dragons. you can go worse, I think, than reading something that starts Jim Eckert was a dragon. Yeah. Anyway, so far so good. That's probably the best conditioned book out of all of them so far. Okay, so Jack Vance. Is Jack Vance the Dying Earth guy? I can't remember in terms of what I've read from Sci-Fi Masterworks. This is, again, really faded, so I've got a feeling that's meant to be read. But the Dragon Masters, so more dragons. Maybe this was a dragon collector. But Hugo Award winner, Mayflower. So again, I haven't got a lot of Mayflower. Relatively good condition. Really good text block inside. White pages, etc. Mayflower, 1965. And this is 1972. So again, if I'm looking at that 69 to 80, whatever, it's right in there. Oh, blimey. There are some strange things. Starsongs and Unicorns by Eric Norden. Apart from he's got a very impressive body. Journeys through time and space. So it is a sci-fi. Again, pretty faded. And what's that? Mana Books? Yeah, so I don't know the publisher. Dr. Hirsch, the radical Israeli scientist, had conquered time and space. Wow. There are some strange things out here. Okay, that's got a little bit of damage on the front. The Primal Solution. Oh, is it short stories? Maybe it's short stories. Yeah, Journeys Through Time and Space, 1978. Not great condition. Never seen it before. Maybe we'll never read it. Might even sell it. But interesting. Oh, Walter M. Miller. What is Walter M. Miller Canticle for Leibowitz? Again, I could be wrong off the top of my head, but I remember that being good. So this is a corgi, and this is very good condition. And I remember Canticle for Leibowitz being very good. The Daft Stella and Other Stories. Oh, I'm an idiot. It says Canticle for Leibowitz here, so subliminal or otherwise. Okay, a little bit of damage on the back. Okay, this is 1982, so I'm okay going into the 80s. My sweet spot is 70s, but I'm okay going into the 80s. But I do expect them to be slightly better condition than this is, but it has got a faded spine again. You can see that's why I'm a little bit, until I get a proper library with no window, for example, and there's a window over there. I'll put it this way. Okay, continue going. I might have to do this in a few stints. Oh, interesting. This has got something inside. Now, I did see this in the picture that there were a few Star Trek novels. Now, I'm not a Trekkie. I'm not even really. I do like Star Wars. And actually, I do like Star Trek. I used to, with my mate, watch videos and reruns of Next Generation when we were kids, teenagers. But I don't dive into the universe and look elsewhere and read the novels, etc. But so the new Star Trek novel, The Klingon Gambit by Robert E. Vorderman. Now, the thing about this is it's in very good condition, and it's Captain Kirk, so it's the original, the old school. Star Trek 33, The Klingon Gambit, and it's got something inside. Now, I'm guessing, and I will keep this inside because I like do they call it ephemera? I like that, but it doesn't bode well because he was on chapter 9 and he never finished. So, but great condition again. What is the age of this? Is it made? Oh, man. Well, the fact that cover art is 1990, that doesn't bode well. So Titan Books, probably a seller or a charity. Age UK will get my ting. Oh, Ave Van Vogt. I think I might have this. If not, I actually think this is, I'm not saying rare, but it's hard to get in pretty good condition. I've seen a few of these, or it's been on my favourites on eBay or something for a while. So that's pretty good, Nick. And I do like Sphere, and like the artwork obviously is one of my big. I didn't even talk about the artwork on the other ones, apart from that guy's body. Even that artwork's good. That's a bit simple. There's a flying brain behind like a silhouetted weird spaceship, but I do love that kind of stuff. My dad used to be so into fantasy art. And I'm a bit, 1968, okay. 1968 Galaxy, 1976. So this one. But yeah, I think I can clean that up a little bit more. Again, I don't know about the spine. I'm hoping it was white. Looks part. That's one of the good ones. That's definitely a keeper. Farmer in the Sky. So my first pan, I think that's my first pan. Not the best condition. Got a little bit of grimble on the back. That's not even a word. And yeah, it's been read for sure. And Heinlein again, Starship Troopers, Stranger in a Strange Land. People, yay and nay about Heinlein. I'm on the fence because I haven't read enough. I don't think I have a copy of Farmer in the Sky, and therefore I will take this one. And until I get an upgrade, it will be part of my library. And this is second print in 1973. So my first pan, I think. I have got a soft spot for the pan. Okay, Philip Jose Farmer. I do have one book by Philip Jose Farmer. I don't know if it's at hand. Probably not. I'm probably wasting time and just... Okay, yeah, I've got this one, which was Penguin. And I got this for nothing at a local National Trust bookshop. And I didn't really know anything about Philip Jose Farmer, but I liked the cover. So this would be my second Philip Jose Farmer, and it's... Just looking at it, it looks like the old style. Yeah, so old Ballantine, 50 cents. Yeah, it looks a bit older. Is that 60s then, or 50s even? Copyright for 50. Sometimes other people manage to look at a book and get the date straight away. I struggle with it a bit. 1959 for the Alleyman. That's when the stories were actually published. So it doesn't really say. I'll have to look that one up. So not the greatest condition, and I'm not the biggest fan of these old school pulp ones. It's a little bit early for me, but you know, I won't say no. See, I recognise this cover, and I don't know my artist that well, but is it Chris Foss? That looks very, very recognisable to me. And Sci-Fi Classics number 13, Next of King by Eric Frank Russell. So another sphere, slightly, something just fell off it. Slightly damaged again, very brown. Let me just double check on that. First fit, so 1973, very good. The Space Willies, copyright Ace Books. Okay, maybe that's the name changed. Okay, doesn't say anything about the front cover. But yeah, again, faded. The brown looks green. Not the greatest condition. So far, unsure. I think I'll say that. It's still fantastic fun. Yeah, I did used to watch Star Trek Next Generation, but yeah. What's his name again? I'm gonna be... Oh, the big Klingon guy. What's his name? Worf. Lieutenant Worf, right? Yeah, not that interested. When Klingons and humans collide, only Lieutenant Worf can prevent utter destruction. Not for me. That one's going on the to sell or otherwise, or if you want it, reach out. Not the best condition. Alan Dean Foster, him of Alien fame, I believe. A novel by Alan Dean Foster, screenplay by Stanford Sherman. So I presume this is a film. Krull. Again, this is newer. It's even got, yeah, it's got film images in this. So this is newer than I expected, and I didn't think they were all this new. So anyway, 1983, so it's not exactly new. Pretty good condition. Krull. I know nothing film-wise, rather. It descends from space, the Black Fortress, raining death and destruction upon the planet Krull. Classic. Andre Norton. So I don't know a lot about Andre Norton. Book 2 in the Ross Murdoch series, Galactic Derelict. Now, when I look at that, I do kind of like the look of that. Now, I'm not saying it would be an amazing, thought-provoking story, but there's like a Turok kind of character. There's some prehistoric things, and there's like a Death Star in the back. So, yeah, why not? Ace. So I do have some Ace, especially since my trip to US. Jay Noddings. Jay Noddings had this at some point. So again, never read Andre Norton. Oh, Ninth Precinct, 1987. Yeah, a little bit too new for my library, but let's see. Maybe the good stuff is at the bottom. A.E. Van Vogt, More Than Superhuman. Looks like a relatively kind of cheapish cover. Not the best art in the world. I know nothing about this. And this is 1975, so this is more like it. But again, very, very faded. I think on the picture, I couldn't see the spines that well, or if I did, I'm not looking properly. But anyway, all good. Okay, more Lieutenant Worf. So the idea that the owner liked dragons, Worf's head, a little bit dragon-like. That's to sell. Slan. See, I've seen this. This has been on my... So this is A. Van Vogt again, and this is classic artwork again. Now, I do like that livery all round, I have to say. It's the author of Voyage of the Space Beagle, not anything to do with Voyage of the Space Beagle, maybe. Okay, 1974, and good condition inside. Yeah, not the best condition, but yeah, that's very well read, really. Yeah, for what I'm collecting, for reading, fantastic. For what I'm collecting or hoping for my sci-fi library, slightly off sync, but definitely one I haven't got and one I'd like. Okay, Michael Moorcock, Sphere Science Fiction. Haven't seen this one before, and definitely haven't seen that cover. That's a weird cover. The Shores of Death. (1970), so right at the start of my hoped for. Yeah, again, I don't know much about Michael Moorcock. What's the famous one again? It Will Come to Me, or I'll Flash It Up. And I have read it. It's not Case of Conscience, that's Blish, isn't it? Not Canticle for Leibowitz. We already mentioned that. I'll embarrass myself, but I'll fight. Oh, Tanith Lee. Now, Tanith Lee I knew nothing about, and then I read, is it Electric Forest? On recommendation from Matt at Bookpilled, who's been, for me, him and Outlaw Bookseller, hands down, are the best of science fiction YouTube, Booktube. But I thought Electric Forest was fantastic. I've even bought it for my sister for Christmas, by the way. And it's hard to get in the UK, by the way. There's not many versions you can get, and it's such a great concept and not twist, but you know, a nice little ending, I'd say. Tanith Lee Volkhavar, Slaves to Afar, Heinlein science fiction. So it is science fiction, but it's more of the kind of reminds me a bit of Shadow Man from Valiant. Slightly newer, I think, but very good condition. And as it's Tanith Lee, I'm happy with that. 1981, so that's okay. And that is really good condition. Again, not sure of the spine, but good. And I'm intrigued to read more Tanith Lee after Electric Forest. It was fantastic. Okay, here's an older pan, and I would be pretty excited about this if it wasn't so rolled. The spine is really rolled. You can kind of see it. What's the best way to see it there? Which is a shame, and unlike comics that can be pressed, I'm not sure what you can do with paperback. But that's kind of the old school lozenge. So this is, I think this is 60s, and I have got the Green Hills of Earth in other formats. So, well, 1956. Wow. So that's a good find, and I'm not too worried about condition on that one. There's one page that is absolutely done. But yeah, look at that. Science fiction at its best, the Green Hills of Earth. And look at the back. It's like a, can you read this typewriter essay before you buy my book? That's really nice. If I can get that to kind of just sit well, it's actually very good condition. That's more like it. Two good ones there. Larry Niven, Ringworld. Now, I did read this, and I've got it hardback as part of the Sci-Fi Masterworks original series. Not the yellow ones, the black ones. So this is Sphere. I don't have it in Sphere. Again, if I will keep it until I update. I remember liking it, but again, it was a long time ago. It's probably 20 plus years ago that I read it. All the Sci-Fi Masterworks, really. and I don't. And people kind of say good and bad about this, about Larry Niven in general. So good to have it. It is considered a classic sci-fi masterwork, of course. Maybe it's due a reread at some stage. Okay, Master SF series. Weirdly, I think I've got one of these locally or close at hand, which is this little kind of section over here is kind of my odd bits that I might sell, might not, or need upgrades, etc. And I got this as part of was it a Not on the High Street or Etsy kind of deal where you give the guy £6, 5 or 6 quid, and he gives you a guaranteed great sci-fi book, right? And I thought I'd try it once, and I got this. And it's not bad condition, it's slightly faded, but it is one of these NEL Master Sci-Fi series, Paradox Men. And now I've got Master Sci-Fi series, The Mind of Mr. Soames. So the collector in me, the completist in me, may have started, in 1976, may have started another thing that annoys my wife, basically. So again, not the best condition, but happy with that. If it's part of a series, I've just spotted something else that more likely to read Deanna Troi than Worf, I have to say. He's looking good. Old, is it Riker? But yes, probably won't read that. But again, good condition. There's got to be someone out there that is collecting those and enjoying those. How many have we through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 24. Okay, it's not even a third. No, about a third. Oh, a better cover, I have to say. Star Trek Demons. So there were way more Star Trek than I remember. I might need to even check that photo because what am I doing? Pocket books, good condition. I'll have a little lot of Star Trek, or the local charity shop will be pretty happy. Oh, here we go. This looks better. Again, just slightly worse condition that would make me sparkle. So Michael Moorcock, The Black Corridor, One Man Alone in Space, Fleeing from Earth. That's the kind of stuff I like the look of. When chaos broke loose on the world, one man set out to find a new society in space. And his name was Ryan, so why not? And I do quite like these little Mayflowers. 1969. Nice. Oh, I kind of like the start as well. Look at the start. Chapter 1. Space is infinite. It is dark. Space is neutral. It is cold. Say it how it is, Michael. Not a great beer today. I'm not even gonna wax lyrical about it. I do like my real ales, but nothing to write home about. It's a very generic one, so I'm not going to say anything. Right, Star Trek. Sorry, that. And now to Star Wars. Now, I am more likely to read a Star Wars novel than a Star Trek novel, I have to say. A little bit of ephemera. Someone, again, has left this, which is quite nice. The Internet Music and Video Shop, Europe's largest online music shop. That looks pretty old. Maybe that was like musicshop.co.uk. Might have to check that out. Yeah, I'm not great condition, slightly grimy, a little bit of kind of dampy, weird. And it's 1990s, but you know, look at those characters on there. I'm more attracted to a Han Solo and Chewie than I am a Worf and Jonathan Frakes. Is that Riker? Piers Anthony, Cluster Series Volume 4, 1000 star. Now, again, this is a guy that gets a really bad rap. And I've only read one, but I remember really, really ruddy enjoying it. It was called Macroscope. I think I've got it still somewhere. It's bigger than this, but I think it might be Granada. It might be the same kind of series. And I just remember it being really fun. And again, 20 years ago, probably plus. But it was about a guy, I think, he developed a macroscope, so the opposite of microscope, so he could see anywhere in the universe. And just the crazy concept was quite interesting. Yeah, it's 1,000 star. I'll keep this one. It's Granada, which I like these ones. It's a slightly later 1984, but I've got is it Robots at Dawn? I think I've got some Asimov as well in this series, which is great. Talking of Asimov, iRobot, and that is a famous cover. I think I see that a lot, that cover. So I would like, again, this in Panther in a really good condition, because it's just a very interesting cover. It's very different to what was being done back then. It doesn't even look like art. It looks like kind of a film still, which is pretty good. And iRobot, I think I've got it in an old, I can't remember, I got it in Waterstones. It's all blue and whatever. And I did, when I was younger, I did really like Asimov. I really did like the 3 robot rules. And again, it was kind of simple, easy to read. I'm an English literature graduate, but it was pretty clunky, but it was also fun. And back then, I was pretty happy just reading for fun. First published by Dobson, but no, okay, 1977. So this is obviously reprinted loads, but that's probably my most collectible copy of iRobot, but it's not great condition. Right, this, okay, so there were 2 books that caught my eye, and this is one of them. So one of them I said was a Pan Lozenge. The other one was this, which is Panther, and it's Ballard. Now, I saw this in a charity shop, an Oxfam bookshop, how long ago? I think it might have been last year or 2 years ago. And it was something like, it wasn't as good condition as this, and it was something like £15 in a charity shop. Now again, I don't know the market for this specific book, but I don't see it very often. And this is pretty good. It's got a little bit of spine roll. And I think it's got another piece of paper in. Is that the same? Yeah, okay, so this, you know, I said the guy might have finished on chapter 9 of the other book. Actually, I think this is a seller's tag. So I'm not going to keep that in there. It does say $2.99 and it's got kind of an ID on it. $2.99 is a fantastic deal, I think, for this book. So, but yeah, that's definitely one for the collection, for the sci-fi library, retirement library. 1967, relatively good condition. Ballard. My favourite, I haven't read that much Ballard. Like, I did read Empire of the Sun. I've read The Drowned World. Is The Drowned World? Yeah. I haven't read, is it The Drought? But I remember reading The Drowned World and thinking it was, there was a bit in it, it was just so atmospheric that I kind of believed it. I believed the flooding. I believed the people trapped or living a life on like the top rung. High Rise as well is the other one I've read, I think. I will be fact checking all of this because my brain's all over the place. Right, it still feels like I haven't got anywhere near, but never mind, all good. Really bad condition, to be honest. It's even got like pen on it, but it is Panther, and it is E.E. Doc Smith. Again, I haven't read E.E. Doc Smith, but Skylark is a classic. So Skylark of Valeron. Oh, the smell there is a little bit too much for me. 1974. So again, if I had that in a much nicer condition, that would be, you know, not pride of place, but it would be in my collection. It's slightly too beat up. So from a great Panther, the J.G. Ballard, that will definitely, to be honest, I should put it in a bag soon. That one, further down the end. Oh, right, this is a really interesting one, because I just told you I won't read Star Trek. But this is James Blish Star Trek. And it looks like just a classic sci-fi novel. So intrigued. So that's Bantam. Star Trek 10, adapted James Blish. 6 fascinating new episodes from the award-winning television series created by Gene Roddenberry. Interesting. As the Enterprise hurtles through space, the crew must destroy a ravening murderous monster aboard the starship. So, of all of them, just because of how it looks, I'm that sad. Which is kind of, I know it's the Enterprise and, was that a Klingon Starbird or something they call it? That's more intriguing, and it's thin anyway, but I might read that. you know, Blish is Cities in Flight, isn't he? And I remember enjoying him, and I've got a lot of Blish recently for the library. So the fact that it's James Blish makes it more likely to stay within the retirement library, for sure. Clark Ashton Smith, Lost Worlds. I've never heard of Clark Ashton Smith. None strikes the note, so Panther again, none strikes the note of cosmic horror as well as horror so well. So H.P. Lovecraft said that. So he must be renowned. Lost Worlds Volume 1, Zothic, Averoyne and Others. Again. 1971, reprint in 1975. Slightly worse condition than I want, but again, intriguing. Cosmic horror. Why not? Okay. Another A.E. Van Vogt in a very strange, like, pastel or watercolour monster cover. 8 Tales of Nightmare Creatures from the Past, the Present and the Future. Corgi. So again, haven't read any Van Vogt. I wouldn't even know what to kind of compare to. It's of a time, isn't it? I know that, but... So it's 1977. Pretty good, Nick. Don't have a lot of Corgi. I don't go out of my way to get Corgi, I have to say. Oh, here we go. Belmont Doubles. So, and I do love a coloured text block. I've literally just got a few Harlan Ellison. I've got a couple of Harlan Ellison recently. A lighter green Deathbird Stories. I've got that also in Pan Lozenge. But I do love a coloured text block. And the other one, I can't remember, but they got it pretty recently. The Beast That Shouted Love at the Heart of the World, red text block. So that was Outlaw Bookseller. I think that's one of his favourites. But again, I got a good deal on those two. And the fact they got a coloured text block is a bonus for sure. But this is Dave Van Arman, Star Gladiator, and special delivery by Chris Neville. 2 alien races battle for an unwary Earth. So I've never heard of this. Earth had been silently, stealthily invaded. Top sci-fi authors, top sci-fi novels, and it's not bad, Nick. It's got a sticker on the front. It's so strange. This collection or lot is so strange. So 1967, and that's in better condition than a lot of those ones we've seen. And just what an interesting. You definitely got a lot more for your money back then, or it feels like you did. Okay. David Langford, author of War in 2080, The Space Eater. Now, this is somewhere in between, you know, the Martin MacInnes Booker long-listed stuff and the classics, I think. But again, looks pretty intriguing. It's in good condition and is much newer. Is it even 90s? It must be 90s, but never heard of it. Oh no, 1982. Somewhere out in deep space, someone was experimenting with matter transmission. The last time it had been tried, millions of suns had gone nova and whole chunks of space had been twisted into black holes. Somehow it had to be stopped. I'm keeping that. Oh, I thought it was Star Trek, a bit of Star Wars. The New Jedi Order, Michael Stackpole. I've heard of Michael Stackpole as well. The unsurpassed action and imagination, New York Times best-selling author Michael A. Stackpole continues the New Jedi Order. Interesting. Again, not really for me, but more tempted by that than others. Okay, I might need to move this because it's getting a bit wobbly. And I also might need to put these back because I didn't put these back at all. Just to keep the order, Right, I've nearly finished kind of one of the piles of the 2 piles within here. So more Van Vogt, Sphere Science Fiction Classics. So this is a reprint of something. Who was Gaussian? Gaussian himself didn't know his own identity, only that he could be killed yet live again. But someone knew who Gaussian was and was using him as a pawn in a deadly game that spanned the galaxy. Intriguing. That actually does sound pretty cool. someone's written in it their name and then February 72. So was that when they received it? First Sphere Books Edition 1971. So this is a First Sphere edition. But again, pretty good condition. Good enough to be in my sci-fi library until I get an upgrade. Very simple livery, but nice one. Oh, here's a biggie. This is the biggest book so far. Right. Talking to guys that get a bad rap. Now, there might be a reason why this guy gets a bad rap, for sure. And I don't live too far from the birthplace. Battlefield Earth, A Saga of the Year 3000 by L. Ron Hubbard. Now, I've heard some people say that his early stuff before Scientology took hold, before the whole thing went haywire, and Tom Cruise got involved, etc., that he was actually a pretty good sci-fi author. Now, I've never read him, and the Scientology stuff has just kept me away from him from day one. But someone's enjoyed this. Look at that. 1,000+ pages. Pure science fiction, 430,000 words written by a super writer of the golden age of science fiction. Now soon to be 2 motion pictures. I should know, shouldn't I? I thought Battlefield Earth, which is somewhere in my head. I'll look that up, but that's not one that's going to stay with me. One, I don't have the time or the patience for something of that size, unless it truly is a classic. I read Anathem on my honeymoon, for example. That was pretty similar, but that was unbelievable. Okay, NEL, Heinlein, The Worlds of Robert Heinlein. Now, I don't think this is non-fiction. No. In this exciting collection, yes, it's just short stories, but that's a nice little collection. And again, NEL is very small type. My eyes are just not good enough these days. But 1978, this new edition, it's very flimsy, very wee, but pretty good condition. And that's one of the better spines. The black spines have done pretty well in this collection. Okay, another Asimov, NEL again, Oceans of Venus. So this is one that I would slightly rolled spine again, but this is in my wheelhouse again. 1974 NEL, not too faded. It's pretty good. Another Asimov. I'm putting some over here now. Well, this is another big boy. Let's just get that peanut so the cats don't eat it. Okay, this is something a bit different, I think. Science Fact. The latest amazing developments that will transform your life. A plain-spoken survey of the dramatic developments happening now. Now, I'm actually in tech. So it would be pretty interesting to read something from 1977 to see what is happening now. And actually what became of that. Electronics, medicine and surgery, genetic engineering and biochemistry, psychology and mind control. Psychology and mind control. I'd love to read. So on page 137, Psychology and Mind Control, how they believed that would be done. And, you know, did they dream up the social media idea that would be able to do that in spades? Anyway, so bigger books at the bottom. William Morris, The Well at the World's End. Now, I've heard of this. But it's Ballantine fantasy and a pretty good condition again. Like red, but good condition. I have been more curious about travels from Upmeads to Utterbowl than about those recorded in Hakluyt. I'm not sure what that means. That's C.S. Lewis talking. Wow. Jill and David Adler, 38 Church Street, Muswell Hill. Do you think that's their collection or that's a bookshop or something? But that's like an old book plate. 16th September 1977, date and price. Wow. Introduction by Lynn Carter. This looks like a classic. Valentine. 1975. Interesting one. Again, one I would never pick up, but nice to have. Right, nearly finished for sure, the first pile. Lloyd Biggle Jr. Now, again, a name I hear a lot and associate with the Golden Age, I think, but I've never read anything. The Fury Out of Time. Sphere again, so happy with the publisher. So look, 1966, 68, so this is slightly older. Again, a bit of a spy increase, etc. The object has arrived without warning, tearing a spiral path of devastation. So big dumb object, is that what they call it? A big dumb object book. But good, Lloyd Biggle Jr. He has been on my radar. Now I did see this one on the picture because it's such an obvious cover, and I see this cover a lot on eBay and 8 Books and other things. But I do quite like it, and just the name of it makes me think it doesn't matter if it's Star Wars. Look, and it's in really good condition, so I probably will keep this one. Spaceway Han Solo, Spaceway super smuggler, and Chewbacca, his loyal Wookiee sidekick, blast off into interstellar action against the dread tyranny that threatens the galaxy. Now, I don't know, there's just something that attracts me to that one. What's that, 1980? I just like that. It's Sphere, it's a nice thing. So I will keep that one. Full show. Right, okay. So there were 2 books I said that I really had my eye on in this collection. One was the Ballard. This was the other one. So I talked about pan lozenges before. I've seen this on eBay, and in some cases it's 20, 30, 40 quid, 40 pounds. And this looked like good condition, and it actually is. So I needed this. Bob Shaw, Other Days, Other Eyes. And it is actually almost, it is in the condition that I thought it was in. It's pretty good. That for me is like a keeper collector copy. I think I've got, I need to check, but I think I've got 50 of the pan lozenges now. And this is pretty hard to get, especially in good condition. And this is, like I say, like a forever keeper copy for this. So if I did buy that for 35 quid somewhere or 40 pounds, I'm not saying it's worth it just for that, but for that and the Ballard and then some other things I've got excited about, this is worth it. And that is very good condition. So I'm very chuffed with that. That will go in a bag very soon. Doc Smith, I see these look around a lot, but again, this is good condition, so this is probably a keeper. The Classic Family D'Alembert series, The Imperial Stars with Stephen Golden, Panther. So that's good. I like these orange spines. If you can hear, it's raining outside. It's a bit rank around here. 1976, nice one. That's a good enough condition as well for my library without the need to hunt for an upgrade. Okay, Theodore Sturgeon in Corgi. So I've got a few Theodore Sturgeon, and I've read a few off the top of my head. I can't remember. Let me have a quick look so I'm not stupid. I'm going to search my books. Theodore. I've got some that I haven't read, and I definitely have. Theodore Sturgeon. This is exciting. You watching me type. More Than Human. More Than Human was the one, but I read that in... When did I read that? Does it tell me when I read it? Easy? View shelf. Again, it must be 20 odd years. I've got a few more on my to read list that I've got from the for my retirement library. So this is Venus Plus X, and again, I have heard of this. I've heard of Booktube talking about it. He awoke to terror. He was in a silver cell, and all he could remember was his name, Charlie Johns. Those are the kind of things I like, and that's a pretty good livery. It's a wraparound cover. I like it. Corgi, don't have a lot of Corgi, as I say. 1972. Again, a little bit of a roll, but a good one. How are you doing? Tired? If I could do this all day, every day, I really would. Okay, another Heinlein, and it's a big one. And I did see this one, and I was hoping this was good condition. I never hear about this one. There's a classic, Time Enough for Love. It must be, surely, just for the scale of it. Heinlein, award-winning maestro of the sci-fi world, surpassed himself in this, his most powerful novel, and there is a time enough indeed for love, for his hero's lifespan covers 23 centuries. Lazarus Long is the senior. So, I read Stranger in a Strange Land a long time ago. Is it The Puppet Masters? Is another one. When is this? This is 1981. So again, but that's pretty good condition. That's a chunk. Now I said I wouldn't touch that Ron Hubbard one with the barge pole. This is very, very small text. 600 pages, but I tempted to keep this and to read this at some point. Another NEL, so my New English Library is growing. More Heinlein, and I do have this in pan lozenge, or at least in pan black cover. Methuselah's Children. That's a nice cover. Not bad condition. More New English Library. 1971. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Again, just wish it was slightly better. Every book collector, I believe, with every book they ever purchase, apart from the most special ones in their heart, just wishes it was slightly better condition. But obviously, price, availability, etc., etc. Ah, boo hiss. No, not boo hiss. Love Patrick Stewart. Love Jean-Luc Picard. Love Deanna Troi. The Doctor's all right. Children of Hamelin, the new novel by Carmen Carter. Number 3. Probably a giveaway. We're nearly finished, guys. I don't know how many we are, but the stack is smalling, so near to the end of the 71. Journey Beyond Tomorrow by Robert Sheckley. Now, I have a few Robert Sheckley, and again, I hear good and bad about Robert Sheckley. Journey Beyond Tomorrow. He was a man of today who became a legend of tomorrow. (1966). Pretty good condition. Corgi. Very weird. I can't even really translate that front cover. Is that like a visor? Like a skiing visor or something? Or is it just a hole? There's some weird robot weird, or maybe someone's nose. Anyway, that's a very interesting one. I've never seen that before. Nice. More Heinlein. Space Cadet in very good condition. And that's a pretty good, like, Ender's Game type cover. Maybe I said that just because it's called Space Cadet, but never mind. Okay, 1986, so I'd expect it to be slightly better. We'll try to let you die, they said, as he was strapped in for the most terrifying test of all, variable acceleration. Good luck, Mr. Cadet. More Heinlein says probably, is he the most represented author in this haul? Maybe. The Day After Tomorrow. Is that actually The Day After Tomorrow? Why do I know The Day After Tomorrow from the film? Washington destroyed completely before the government could escape. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. The film was based on this. 1972. So again, NEL, pretty good livery, slightly off condition. Interesting. So this is a new one. So I've read a lot of Arthur C. Clarke. I've even read some of the non-fiction stuff because my dad used to have books on UFOs and those kind of things. It was Weird and Wonderful X or whatever. I did read Rendezvous with Rama a long time ago. Garden of Rama, I'm presuming, is a big modern sequel or many sequels down the road. Oh, here we go. Rendezvous with Rama, Rama 2, Rama Revealed, Cradle, Against the Fall. So there's a few. Hammer of God. I don't know if that's in the series, but Hammer of God. So this is 1990. Wow, 8 or something. So strange to have such a modern one, but it is read. I feel that this is someone's or originally was someone's kind of mini collection that they read and enjoyed, and then they just, maybe a house clearance or something like that. But they're quite recent. It's not like a an older collector or an estate sale. More Heinlein, Assignment in Eternity Volume 2 with a 40p sticker on it. Again, spine roll. It's just the most frustrating thing. 1978. It looks, I don't know why that's reminding me of Harry Potter or something, but tree with people in, like, yeah, why not? Okay, nearly there. More Moorcock. Oh, this is a good one. So I do like these Mayflower ones, but again, it's science fantasy. And apart from something like Gene Wolfe, Shadow of the Torturer kind of stuff, I don't know, science fantasy doesn't appeal to me that much. I live to be corrected, but that's a pretty cool cover. It feels like it's some kind of carnival. Well, it's mountains and weird, but anyway, I've seen a lot of Moorcock covers that are kind of crazy like this. From memories of the future and dark premonitions of the past, Michael Moorcock's incredible mind recounts the epic tales of 4 fantastic heroes. Intrigued. I will be keeping this one. 1973 as well, and pretty good condition apart from the reader spine, but it's not a twisted spine. Okay, here's one that I have never heard of. William F. Temple, The Fleshpots of Sansato. The title itself is intriguing, but when you see the cover, even more so. So back when, I don't know, smut was smut, that is just a sign on the roadside, so it's not, you know. And that is just a roadside, to be honest. It's nothing. Lucky Dice Club. Like, there's nothing really that futuristic about that, but I'm intrigued. Sansato, the town of neon lights, gambling clubs and brothels, the home of the Satos, the female creatures whose variety of exotic and dangerous pleasures lure men from all over the universe. That is a keeper. That sounds so dodgy. I never read anything like that, I promise you. But that's kind of the pulpy, weird, like, people's imagination nonsense that should be, you know, at least looked after for its time. Nice one. Okay, another horrifically twisted spine. Getting a bit annoyed with that now. Robert Heinlein, Between Planets. Don is a citizen of the Interplanetary Federation, yet no single planet can claim him as its own. Don? Bad timing for that name. 1973. So again, NEL, I would like that, and I do like that, but look at that. Anyway, there's going to be a few swapsies here, and another one. Oh, they're all on the same. They're all at the bottom. Man of Two Worlds, Raymond F. Jones. I have got a Raymond F. Jones. I think I've got a lozenge one, a red one. But I don't know what the name is. So this is actually got water damage as well. And it's 1971, so it is old. Pyramid science fiction as well. I've seen those in the US, I think. And it would be close to pretty good. It's not that bad condition apart from that spine. So again, probably not a keeper. The most compelling novel of the unknown ever written. Fade Out, Patrick Tilley. And this is kind of a more modern sphere. This is in good condition. Excellent, A Cliffhanger, Daily Telegraph. I think my wife might be coming back soon, so there might be an edit. Is this 1980 maybe even later? No dates on that page. No dates on that page. I'll look it up later. The date was Friday the 3rd of August. For some people, depending on where they lived, the day was just beginning. For others, it was the end of another perfectly normal day. Suddenly, all around the world, every ground and airport radar screen went haywire. Thriller. More Van Vogt. Now, I have seen this, and I've wanted a copy of this because of the cover, as well as Null A. Again, Sphere, yeah. A. Van Vogt, The Pawns of Null A. Gossein. Oh, Gossein again. So there's a lot of this Gossein guy, Gosseyn. Okay, that's definitely a keeper, and I think that's around the right age, so 1970 plus. 1976. Yeah. Nice. My Van vote is definitely increasing. Nice. George Zabrowski, NEL, the Amiga point. Never seen that before, but good cover. Like, not the best art in the world, but it's there's just something about it. It's, who are these weird, you know, non-skinned, you know, bad spacesuit, rubbish gun peeps. Amiga point, 1972. Georgias was one of the last surviving members of the ancient and mighty race, the Herculeans. Okay, doesn't sound good now. But a keeper, for sure. Now, Paul Anderson. I've got a lot of Paul Anderson. I actually got... No, that's not... I thought I had this really brilliant wraparound arty cover, and I thought it was Paul Anderson, but it's not. I'll show you anyway because it's fantastic. But it's Larry Niven, actually. So I got this in Rochester at the most amazing Baggins Book Bazaar. Look at that wraparound cover. The stories are probably rubbish, but it's worth having that just for that. Anyway, I thought that was Paul Anderson. It's not. Is Paul Anderson, is he Nova and Gateway and all that lot? I can't. Anyway, I'll edit it. I get confused. The more I do this, the more my memory will come back, I promise you. 1983. So, Orion Shall Rise, the epic novel of man's struggle to rebuild a shattered world. Centuries after a worldwide nuclear war has decimated Earth population. I'm not the biggest fan of the world's over, or whatever, the world's struggling, we're about to die, dying Earth stuff. If it's done well, yes, but there's a lot of it, isn't there? You know, catastrophe because of X, a few humans, what you can do, you know. More Heinlein. That's better condition. That's nicer. So I've got Revolt on 2100 in other livery, in pan, I think. But this is a pretty good NEL copy. The year is 2100 and America is ruled by a corrupt and despotic religious dictator. No comment. I do love that word though. Despotic. 1977. 50p in pencil inside. That's a good enough condition for me, and that's a keeper. And that's a good cover. Right, we've only got like a handful left, 4 or 5. Okay, E. Doc Smith. So Lensman series. I haven't read any Lensman series. And I don't know where this sits, the Dragon Lensman. Nice cover, good condition cover, but then spine problem, which is a shame because the black ones have been doing quite well. The Dragon Lensman. Dragon again, reference to Dragon again. 1981. Yeah, that should be better in corgi. That probably is not a keeper. Silverberg. My first Silverberg in the box is right down the bottom. I do like Silverberg. I read Nightwings relatively recently and I did like it. I just thought it was very floaty and creative and like obviously easy to read and just very strange kind of, was it the 3 characters interacting, and it just, your mind kind of just played with itself. It created things itself, which I thought was quite nice. And Silverberg's always easy to read. 1975, so perfect. A little bit faded, I think, but Dying Inside. Right, I think I might have read this actually. Dying Inside. I think that might have been a Sci-Fi Masterworks. I need to check it, but that's definitely not broken it. If you could break a book. Definitely keeping that one. That's nice. And that's Sidgwick and Jackson, which I don't think I've got anything from. I've got a few kind of Dobsons and Blackie and this kind of some strange publishers, but not that. Jack Williamson's classic Legion of Space series, The Legion of Space, Sphere. Okay, that's good. That's good condition. I haven't read any Jack Williamson, but I feel or I hear he's a bit more adventuresome. Maybe not the, the literary quality of others. But I think that's okay sometimes. It depends what your mood is. So 1977, pretty good condition. They were the greatest trio of swashbuckling adventurers ever to ship out to the stars. I'll read the Han Solo one with Chewie and then this one. Overkill. Swashbuckle Overkill. Oh, here's a nice one. Lancer Books. I think I saw a lot of these in the US. So I think that's a coloured text block. I don't think that's you know, just a miscoloration. Oh, it's pretty faded, but it is old. So Avalon Books, this is right, or Lancer Books, 1963. Relatively good condition apart from those things. Lynn Carter again, she always seems to be the reviewer of these. Is it a he? I think Lynn Carter might be a he. I'll edit that as well. Here's another female, but this one has something on the ball. You've read Evelyn E. No Relation Smith before, but this seems to be her debut in hardcovers. That doesn't even make sense. What happens to a world when the body beautiful nuts take over? The perfect planet. Oh, so it's like basically saying you need a body like me, like those two on the front cover, and then look at the two in the ball at the top, looking at them saying no chance. Let's have a donut. Anyway, I think I've only got two left. Now, here's an interesting one. So I've seen this a lot. I've seen these a lot, the women's press editions. For me, they're pretty boring. Like I'm not a big fan of having this panel within a panel. It looks like the you know, the World Book Night stuff. It looks like a freebie. But the women's press editions are, I think, very well respected. Obviously for what they were doing in the literary landscape. And obviously, Joanna Russ, The Female Man, is an absolute classic that people wax lyrical about. And I've never read it. I've got a really nice Joanna Russ. I probably won't be able to find it now, but an old white and orange book with a strange character on the front, but it's not The Female Man. I don't know which one it is. I haven't got a copy of this, and I think it is good to have this. And probably, from what I know about this book, it's good to have the women's press edition, to be honest. So that's a nice find at the bottom there, but how old are these women's press editions? Okay, so 1985, so it should be in good nick. But first women's press edition and first The Female Man. I think I had a different name though, so maybe I have got it in a different name, but first female. Now, this is the last book, believe it or not. That went pretty quick for me, maybe not you, sorry about that. Oh, it's a Del Rey as well. So I saw something about Del Rey on YouTube or on one of the streaming services. How amazing the lady who created Del Rey was. If you haven't, check it out. But I always see these circular bits in the corner and I always want to have more of them. So The Genesis Machine by James P. Hogan. I don't know about James P. Hogan, but Del Rey, so it's an imprint of Ballantine. I think this is 70s. 1978, so yeah, and that's not a bad condition, and that's pretty, you know, a good sized book in a good condition with the Del Rey and intriguing cover. So yeah, so that, believe it or not, is 71 books. Now I got two things from this seller. One was a 21 Silver Age comics, which I think overall I got a good deal on from what they are. I need to look at them, but I wanted them to fill a collection. And this was 71 books. And the average cost, and you can work it out yourself, but the average cost of a book, it was free postage, was £1.50. Now, if I look at the Ballard and the Pan Lozenge, was it the Bob Shaw one? I would have probably paid £50 for those anyway, right? So I need to see what happens with the rest of it, but I'm pretty happy with that. And to be honest, I just love doing these things, right? I love just grabbing books and talking nonsense and flicking through and smelling and seeing what's inside and trying to get my aging brain to remember the books I have read. Because believe it or not, I have read a lot. So yeah, anyway, this is a kind of a tester for this. I hope to create an official channel at some point with a plan, with regular content and with a goal. And the goal is sci-fi retirement library. I don't know what it will become. I've got a rough idea. I've definitely got things I like, and I'm building it as almost every day of my life, I'm thinking and building it. And I want to take you guys on the journey of what it actually might become. If we move house, I have a dedicated room. I build the most amazing shelves you've ever seen. I put an old mahogany desk in the middle. I have the reading chair to die for. I have light that these aging eyes can actually utilize. Everyone has to have a dream. Anyway, thank you for spending time with me. 71 books down, a lot of bagging to do, maybe a lot of giving away to do as well, but it's all fun. See you next time.